Welcome to CBS News.
Hello,
I'm Dan Rather.
Hello, and welcome everybody to our last WandaVision live discussion after the finale last night. I would like to welcome you all. I enjoyed it.
I welcome you all.
I think Michael enjoyed it. My seat's about to break, so if I fall off camera, don't worry about it. It's just the seat. The way we're going to attack it tonight is we're going to give our general thoughts of the episode last night and of the series as a whole. Then Michael's going to break it down for us, and we're going to discuss certain things that happened in it.
Are we gonna?
Yeah. So
we're going to talk about it?
Over to you.
All the things we like?
All the things we like.
This one time at band camp?
Why do I look smaller than you?
You are smaller than me.
That's probably why then. Yeah, so over to you, Michael. There we go.
Over to me.
Over there to you.
Over. Roger.
Victor.
Sorry. Okay, I did not particularly love it, but I didn't completely not enjoy it.
That's a bit of a, what do they call that?
Double negatives and double entendres.
Oxymoron?
Hey, it's like it is.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, okay, it was fine, right? I mean, I thought that the last episode was cooler. The episode in general just felt like a typical Marvel Cinematic Universe finale, like the final set piece of a movie with lots of action, lots of explosions, and lots of grandiose, villains talking down on our heroes. Just it was good. The best moments of the episode to me were the more cryptic and more. What did he call it? So it's a thought exercise. Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Thought in metaphysics or something.
Yeah, existential metaphysics. So that's the kind of stuff that gets me. I love that kind of crap. Yeah. But when we were getting all the action, I was just like, okay. We even got a sky beam, for crying out loud. For a brief moment, there was a sky beam. Right?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So yeah, it was fine. It's fine. I enjoyed it.
Okay, so my thoughts on this episode is I really enjoyed it. It gave me the ending that I wanted. The sky beam, yes, yeah. It give us action. One thing I will say about the action, from what I'm used to from Marvel,
it was very actiony.
Well, no, it was very Zod versus Superman, Man of Steel.
It was also
Matrix,
very Neo versus Agent Smith.
It wasn't the greatest effects.
Even had a little bit of the Hulk versus the Absorbing Man from Ang Lee's The Hulk.
Now, the parts where it was close in and you could see it was obviously wire work looked awesome, but as soon as they were up in the sky,
I'm not going to criticize this type of show on its visuals at all.
Yeah, like it is, says 8 out of 10 for me. It lacked in some aspects, but still overall good. That's generally my thoughts. I really enjoyed the bits that you were talking about.
It's funny, that's my score for the whole season.
Yeah, is the deep bits between Vision and Vision, and then the deep bits at the end of it before, spoilers, before she collapses the Hex. But overall, I really enjoyed the episode. As far as the series goes, I now really want to go back and watch the series again, knowing what's going on.
It's fun.
But the whole...
Well, I only watched the first 3 episodes again, but it's interesting.
Yeah, the whole series, to me, what I've loved about it is I think a lot of Marvel fans have missed the point of WandaVision. All this theorizing, and it's Mephisto, Reed Richards, it's Nightmare, it's Wolverine's going to show up, Doctor Strange is going to...
It's Captain Kirk.
Yeah, you've missed the point of this series. If that's all you've done, spent through all these weeks, these 9 weeks, just constantly doing that. Now, we've touched on it a little.
What did they want? Did they want Vision to be like, Wanda, I am your father?
Yeah. They've missed the point. WandaVision was a chance to give 2 characters that we don't really know a lot about, what's the best way to put it? Space to breathe.
Well, hold on. I think I know what you're saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was a chance to give 2 characters who didn't really have an origin story. An origin story.
Yeah. It developed these characters because, obviously, spoilers, Tony Stark's dead. Captain America is Joe Biden. Hawkeye's gone back to his family, so we've got to introduce new characters. We've got Spider-Man, but how do you flesh out these characters who are kind of side Avengers? We give them WandaVision, and the entire season was a study on Wanda's grief and how she dealt with it. It
was one of the themes, yes.
It had naught to do with fucking Mephisto and Nightmare. Everybody just watched this as a setup for the next phase of the MCU rather than actually watching and enjoying it as its own entity.
Yeah, but you just know, though, everyone's going to be saying this now, right? Kevin Feige will be like, oh, yeah, and then all of a sudden season 2 will come along and Mephisto will be in it.
Yeah, but that I don't mind. This season, though, was not that.
I just think that's just what we do these days. People like to theorize and come up with ideas.
At what cost? All this theorizing, all this.
Cost.
Ralph is Mephisto, is stealing Quicksilver's body. Why can't you just watch?
Well, because some people can't. No, but some people can.
Motherfucker.
Some people can do that and it not bother them. But then you've got those who do, and then they let themselves get all amped up and get their expectations in a certain spot, and rather than be vindicated in their ideas, they're wrong. And instead of just being like, "Oh, okay, well,"
they get pissy about it.
They get all pissy about it.
So,
but that's not everybody. Not everybody does that. It's not fair to accuse everyone of that.
It's just all the internet trolls. But that aside, if this is the first foray into MCU into MCU TV series, they've done a phenomenal job, and I can't wait for the next ones.
I can't wait for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
We got 2 weeks before Falcon, and we're going to be doing this for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I don't expect Falcon and the Winter Soldier, though, to be as cerebral as this show was.
Oh, no, I think it to be more cerebral. I think it's going to be a deep, cerebral spy thriller series. Not as
cerebral. I mean all the thought-provocative stuff.
Yeah, what I'm on about is it's not going to be punch, kick, laser beam, sky beam. It's going to be more a mental.
Can we get the definition of cerebral up there? What's his name?
Joe Rogan. But yeah, it's going to be more of a spy, Jason Bourne style cerebral.
No, so hold on, that's not cerebral.
It is, because our heroes are going to have to use their mind.
No, cerebral means is like the narrative is thought provocative.
Oh yeah, the narrative is. But I'm on about the show that the heroes are going to have to.
I know what you're saying.
They can't punch, kick, fight their way out of it. They're going to have to use their mind to defeat Zemo.
It's going to be a spy movie.
A spy series.
So
anyway,
but that being said, just pointing that out real quick, this feels not like a series. It feels like
a very long movie,
like a 6-7 hour movie.
Which I'm hoping all these series are, because it's just another way of getting an MCU movie without having to sit through 3 hours. I can sit through night.
But what's fascinating though is you were saying, you kind of pointing out what you thought of the visuals, but realistically, the actual visual effects of most TV series these days is sometimes on par with
they are getting up
with
there.
The movies that we have.
I watched episode 2 of Superman and Lois, and yes, I agree with you. The fight scene in that episode is as good as Man of Steel, Superman versus
Star Trek Discovery. Yeah. Star Trek Discovery is some of the best looking special effects in any Star Trek property ever.
Anyway, that's what
back to WandaVision.
Anyway, that was our general thoughts on it. Let's break down the episode, kind of scene by scene, talk about it, what we thought about it. We'll take your questions and comments as well as they come up, like it is. Thanks for joining us. And over to you. Yeah.
Okay, so I was we watched it a second time, but I was a little bit haphazard trying to get the notes down because it's not cerebral like the other episodes where it's going from scene to scene. We're literally switching from high action event to low action event to high action event again, back to another high action.
It felt like a third act of a movie.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, so this isn't going to be quite as detailed as usual. I tried though. I've got 3 pages here. So we jump straight into the action.
Holy shit, we got 3 pages?
Yeah.
Bear with us. It'll be worth it in the end.
It's going to be hard to top WandaVision. I would say probably.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's a good bar. They've set a good bar for themselves.
They've set the bar very high.
So we jump straight into the action. Agatha's got the kids all wound up in purple goo magic.
It follows straight on from last week.
And yeah, she basically says to Wanda that you're undeserving of this power and announces her desire to take it from her.
Yeah, and she sends the kids away, and then they start fighting.
Well, first she says, "Hey, you forgot that I have my powers out here," and Agatha's like, "I was counting on it."
Yeah,
and she tells the kids to run off, and then she's like, she makes Wanda. This happens a lot where we get this false sense of security, like who's on top, who's double crossing who. But the first instance of this is Agatha's got her by her grips, and little do we realize that Wanda's slowly picked up a vehicle and is crashing a car down on top of her to give us the first reference in this episode outside of the movie, which is interesting because all this series has been about references.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have that, but we had a Wicked Witch of the West, Wicked Witch of the East reference.
Hey up, Kushal. Welcome back. Good to see you, man. Yeah, the Wizard of Oz reference was quite interesting.
Yeah, so she drops the car on her, she crashes into her house, you see that she's not there, the shoes are still there, and then White Vision shows up.
And he uses a term which he shouldn't really understand, but I know why they're doing it. It's like symbolism. He goes, Wanda. And that's basically what Vision says when he's created. He says the exact same thing, except when he's created, he doesn't then try and crush her head.
Where's the symbolism?
That she to show her that this is Vision and that she doesn't know until he tries to.
That's just dramatic irony.
Yeah, to try and crush her head. Because there's no way that White Vision, or whatever they want to call him.
I don't want to call him White Vision. It sounds like, like a chocolate bar. Vision bar, now in white chocolate.
Well, let's call him Vision because that's
we'll get to theory crafting because that's why also he's very different from the White Vision from the comics in that sense.
Yeah,
he's nothing more than a reference really. Because at the end of the day, it's very likely that he is really the true Vision now. But anyways, we'll get to that at some point. So yeah, he picks her up though with his hands and her head, which is very painful, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, tries to just crush her skull.
But it's also interesting that she doesn't do anything to stop him. Because, I mean, we needed fake Vision, or her Vision, to show up to save the day. But why couldn't she stop him? She was, like, holding onto his hands all of a sudden, damsel in distress.
At this point, I still don't think she knows that it's a Vision that's trying to kill her. I don't think she can figure out what's going on. Because I think she realizes that is Vision's body.
Yeah.
She knows that.
Well, she even because she don't react like, "Hey, Vision, why'd you look so different?" Yeah. She's just immediately Vision.
It's
like, is that
it's
you?
Her Vision, yeah.
Yeah. So she's quickly snapped out of the delusion for a split second there.
And then her Vision shows up to save the day, kicks him off, and he blows up. And then they have that little tete-a-tete of this is our home, then let's fight for it.
And then he goes off to fight him, and Wanda starts fighting Agatha while Monica is trapped inside with fake Pietro.
Okay, ladies, thanks for showing up, and we'll see you on the next stream. Have a great day. Yeah, so because that's when they go off fighting, and then we go to Pietro, and he's playing the guitar, and for some reason, he's got Quicksilver's powers. But he's also acting like Sean Penn from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah.
Like, why is Agatha making him act like that?
I don't know, but we just find out that basically he's still got his powers and that he supposedly he can stop Monica at his whim from leaving. Mm-hmm. Then we go back into, like you say, the action. It's all the fight scene stuff, which mostly I enjoyed. Again, I thought some of the effects were very Matrix Revolution.
Well, this is how often this is so much fighting, and this is how often I wrote down we go back to them fighting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the first page, 6 times I wrote we've gone back to Agatha and Wanda fighting, back to Vision fighting. It's just constantly back and forth between all the fight scenes.
The Vision fighting stuff could literally be cut down to one scene and then the scene in the library, because most of the other fighting is just fighting. Whereas when Wanda's fighting Agatha, there's at least two-way conversation.
Yeah, a little bit more like the lightsaber duels from Empire Strikes Back and whatnot.
Yeah, and we get a lot of exposition in those fights with Wanda and Agatha, because she shows up at the town, and that's where she basically then dumps all this exposition on her that you are the Scarlet Witch. You were mentioned. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you.
So the two Visions keep fighting while Hayward watches from outside. We find out that he's apprehended Jimmy, who, even though we don't really get any like on-screen indications that he knows about the White Vision, he acts like he does, and mentions, that I'm not going to stay quiet, and this isn't going to go well for you, especially when I speak to my friends at Quantico.
Yeah, he's bluffing. But the key thing...
Well, because he escapes a moment later and then calls them up and says, hey, look, I need you. Can you be here in an hour?
The key from that scene I got was Hayward's dastardly plan is to basically kill off anybody that knows that he's broken the Sokovia Accords by bringing Vision back to life. And then,
he says that. He straight up says that. He says, "I want to cancel her show so that there's no proof that we did any of this." And to which Jimmy says, "Well, except Monica, me, and Wanda, and all of the Sword headquarters security footage."
And he says that could be edited. And basically, his plan is to kill Wanda, kill the Vision, close down the Hex, and then when the White Vision comes out, make out like that's the Vision that she reanimated, and therefore it's not against the Sokovia Accords, and now he's got his weapon.
Yeah, she did it.
So basically, he was doing dastardly, I need weapon, bad guy kind of stuff, which is very generic.
I don't know if I would call him any... Do you think he's any more of a villain than Scarlet Witch is, though, in this situation?
Yeah.
He's just a guy doing his job.
No, he wants a sentient weapon.
Yeah.
His whole thing was...
Sword wants the sentient weapon.
Yeah, so...
You're acting like he's...
Well, he's the director.
Well, and actually, because we find out from an mid-credit scene later as well, that actually not all Sword...
Are on Earth.
Well, of course they're not. Sword Earth's Space Defense Force. But they're not all on Hayward's side. So maybe Hayward is like a Splinter Cell.
Well, the way I see Hayward is the same as the director in Winter Soldier. The director in Winter Soldier is a Hydra agent. He has a weapon that can kill super beings.
So you think Hayward's a Hydra?
No, I just think he's...
You can't spell Hayward without Hydra.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, you can't.
No. But I don't think.
Hold on.
Hang on. No, you can. No, there's no I in Hayward.
Yeah, it isn't in Hydra either. Hydra is Hydra.
Yeah.
Hayward.
Yeah.
It's actually other than the W, it's an anagram.
Yeah. I don't think he's
two
Hydra
A's as well.
I just think he's another dick guy wanting power. That because the Shield director. Crazy thing.
Mephisto confirmed. Sorry.
In Winter Soldier, he just wanted that weapon for Hydra to kill beings.
Sword versus Shield in the future. Or is it Shield now?
Shield's over and done with.
Shield's been done since the end of Winter Soldier.
Yeah, because basically Cap says it's taking it all down. But I just think
there's two different... Well, not two necessarily, but like Hayward's a Splinter Cell of Sword. Him and his friends who've rebuilt Vision, they're what do you call it? A Black Ops, is it?
No, Black Ops would be sanctioned.
Maybe, but that's what I'm saying. Maybe it was. Think of Cerberus from Mass Effect. Yeah. They were originally Alliance Black Ops who kind of went rogue.
Basically, Hayward wants a weapon that he can control that's made out of vibranium. And he saw what Wanda's done with the Hex as an opportunity to jump on this shit. He's an opportunist. He saw a way of getting his weapon back with Wanda's grief. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we jump back inside. Continues.
Back into the Hex. Agatha wakes all of the Westview folks though now and gets them to basically.
Fury would bitch slap him, man. He'd just give him a good pistol whip.
Fury versus Hayward. That might happen.
Unless he came from this angle, and then he won't see him coming.
Yeah, because of the flirking.
Yeah, terrible joke.
So yeah, Agatha starts releasing all of the people inside Westview from Wanda's spells, and this is in response to her basically saying, I'm not a monster, and she's like, oh really? And so she frees them all up, and they all come at her and reveal to Wanda that they were in pain, and that they some of them have forgotten who they were. Like, she's reprogrammed people's brains and stuff.
This scene, though, says to me, though...
One of them even goes so far as to say, if you're not going to free us, could you just let us die? That's pretty deep, dark shit right there.
But this is what I'm saying. That
I don't think, see a doctor.
I don't think Wanda did that intentionally. I think that was all done when she created the Hex subconsciously, and she doesn't know that these people are suffering that much.
I agree. I don't think she's aware that people are completely suffering.
Because I think if she knew that they were suffering, she'd bring it down.
Or... she knew, didn't care enough because she's hiding from her grief, theme of the show, and it took Agatha showing it to her before because that's where she starts to get emotional about it, and like, no, I didn't.
And she loses control of her power again.
And so it's like, seeing something makes it more real. That's probably what it is a case of.
What I equate it to is like Rogue with her boyfriend in the first X-Men movie. She doesn't mean to suck the life force out of that guy when she's making out with him, but it's a byproduct of her power that she doesn't understand yet. And that what Wanda's done to these people by causing the pain from, because by the sounds of it, the pain comes from it when they go to bed at night, and every single person in Westview is feeling Wanda's grief.
They all have the same nightmares.
Yeah, and she said the word nightmare, so there'll be a million people. Nightmare's going to be in the season 2. He's going to be the big bad. He's that trash can in the corner. That's Nightmare.
The film theories guys made a theory that came out yesterday before the episode was
with Nightmare.
That Dottie, the blonde lady, was actually this other witch who controls yellow power from the comics and whatnot. And they had all these things about roses, and that's like Dottie actually has roses, and she's water. Like
again. Just watch the show.
Hey, no.
Sit back with some popcorn.
Matt Pat has a good time. He enjoys himself when he's doing his theories. So
there you go. Kushal nailed it on the head. I hate how people overhype the shit out of this episode. Well, I don't think it's just the episode. I think it's people reading too much into it rather than just enjoying the show. It's a kind of culture we live in now where everything has to be broke down, and the fact that people do 72 Easter eggs in a 30-minute episode. They're not Easter eggs. You really... Out of those 72, 3 of them might be an Easter egg. The other 69, you are grasping at straws. Like...
Easter egg number 1, the bowl that Wanda is eating her cereal out of is also the same prop used in Iron Man 2.
Yeah. So, I think...
Did you know films were made on film?
Film, yeah. What I did notice, though, is when... when Agatha tells Wanda and she releases him and Wanda sees what she's done, first thing she does is after she's dealt with her grief and Agatha says...
Yeah, what about that secret Luke level cameo?
So the Luke level cameo, Paul Bettany came out today and said the cameo was White Vision, him as White Vision. He came out and said that today. And again... You never know. This might have just been all of them just trolling the internet for the last 9 weeks because they know what the internet's like. But it was a cameo. White Vision is a massive Marvel character. That's a huge... Now, it's not Luke Skywalker level. Luke Skywalker level for me would be
if Captain America
or Thor showing up, or Doctor Strange even.
I wanted Hawkeye to show up, but
yeah. So don't get me wrong, it wasn't Luke Skywalker level, but it was a massive cameo in the White Vision.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong.
No. But as soon as, in this scene here, as soon as Agatha points out to her that what she's doing is not what a hero would do, she instantly stops. And this is why I don't think she's going to be the next big bad, because she has that conscience of a good guy. Because as soon as she realizes what she's doing, she starts pulling the Hex apart to let them all out.
Hold on, I forgot my footnotes here. I switched something around because she does mention before that she knows that she's the Scarlet Witch. She's heard of you. Your coming was written in the Book of the Damned.
Yeah, the Darkhold.
Mm-hmm. Well, she refers to it as the Book of the Damned.
No, she calls it the Darkhold as well.
But in that scene, she calls it the Book of the Damned.
Now, the thing with the Darkhold is, a lot of people out there have been saying that was the missing book from the library at Camotage in Doctor Strange. Yeah. No, I don't agree. Again, reading too much into this shit.
Well, it might be.
But one thing...
Does it matter? No.
One thing she does say in this scene is the Scarlet Witch is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. That is key. That is a key line from this movie. If you're really reading stuff,
is that the same Sorcerer Supreme from Doctor Strange?
Exactly. So that will be key going into Doctor Strange's movie.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we next? Where are we?
Well, you jumped way ahead.
Oh,
so, we now snap back to
time's relative.
Yeah, we now snap back to Monica, who's basically being held prisoner by fake Pietro, as we know, and she's just kind of like doing detective stuff. She's looking around, and she comes across his bills. And she finds out that he's actually called Ralph. And then she sees a picture underneath the bills, and it's him, and it says Ralph Boner. To which he laughs, Boner.
Now, a lot of people saying that's a shitty place or a really poor payoff to just get a dick joke into but I don't care. It's nice that
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's nice that he's I love all these things that they turn out to be nobody, because everybody's getting so, like we say, everybody's getting so hyped on the internet. The fact that they don't turn out to be anything is even more rewarding.
It is a little bit gutsy, though, from him to have picked Evan Peters for that role, though.
What that says to me, as I do my hand in your screen, what that says to me, that is Kevin Feige's getting out the shotgun.
Feige's, like both of them.
Both of them, yeah. Kevin Feige getting out the shotgun, putting the Fox universe on the floor, putting the gun at the back of the head and pulling the trigger and saying, this universe is dead. So much dead, we don't mind casting a beloved character from that universe in a nothing role. And that's what it is. They've taken one of the X-Men franchise's favorite characters. But
I mean, those DVDs and Blu-rays still exist.
Yeah. But that universe is... People should now think that universe is dead. Fassbender's not going to show up as Magneto.
Oh, yeah, there's no crossovers.
No, it's done. And then she kicks his ass and realizes that she's controlling him. One thing I did notice, though, Monica's eyes change colour depending on what power she's dealing with. So when she's dealing with Agatha's power, her eyes glow purple. When she got through the barrier and looking at all the power in the power lines, they were blue. And then later on in the show, when she's getting hit by projectiles, they go yellow.
No, so what's going on there is she can... You know how she showed how she can see other things? Like she can see electromagnetism and stuff like that. That was just indicating that she was scanning him with her blue eyes and seeing purple Agatha magic. So she's like, oh, this is obviously what's causing it, and pulls it off of him.
So Kushal says there's a theory that for some reason the Fox version of Quicksilver was hiding on the MCU Earth, hence the change in his name. He's hiding from Fox.
There is the question of it that he does have Quicksilver's powers,
but that might be just Agatha giving him that.
Maybe
because if Wanda,
so if Agatha can make the power of lightning speed, why doesn't she move with lightning speed?
Because she don't need to.
No, that's not the question.
No,
that's not. Of course, she doesn't need to, but if she has that ability, why wouldn't she?
Well, no. Remember, what she's doing is she's manipulating the reality in the hex.
I think that being able to mimic abilities like that is a little bit much.
Why? Wanda's.
I think there's something.
Wanda's son mimics those, and they're not real.
I'm gonna be one of those theory wankers, and I'm telling you, there's a reason. Like, he's still gonna have that power.
No, he's not. He's just Ralph, and that after this series, we'll never see him again.
But why did we make such a big deal about Ralph, though?
Because that's where
Agatha's husband, Ralph.
Well, no, Agatha took over Ralph's life and made him out to be. Ralph's not Agatha's husband. That's when she senses power.
I know he's not.
She basically kidnapped him.
Yeah.
So she kept. If you notice, she kept throwing in the name as Ralph because.
But in the same way that when Vision freed her in that one episode with the Halloween stuff, and she acted like she was innocent, he could have been doing the same thing when Monica took the necklace off.
So Kashala, that's what I meant. The reason why they picked Evan Peters was to definitely prove to the entire viewing audience that the Fox Marvel universe with the X-Men in is done. To make that so apparent, they cast one of the main actors from that universe in a nothing role.
But you don't have to do that.
You do if you want. If you want to make a statement.
I don't. Yeah, you just make a statement. Go on Twitter, be like, we are going to be putting to bed the old Fox.
But he did it. He did it through the medium.
I don't know. It's still strange casting choice. It's a very eyebrow raising.
I think it'll come out the fact that he just wanted. Let's say Marvel got Spider-Man back. They'd cast Tobey Maguire as a hot dog seller. And Andrew Garfield as
I think you're making too many theories about Kevin Feige's motivations.
Yeah, except Ryan Reynolds. But that's because Ryan Reynolds can exist outside all the universes.
Because he can break all the walls.
Yeah.
All 16 of them. He can, okay. He can actually, if you think about it, he's probably the one person who's more powerful than Wanda is. Maybe he's a Nexus being.
He is the most powerful man in the MCU.
Maybe he's
in fact, no, not the MCU. Deadpool is the most powerful person in the Marvel universe because he's actually killed the Marvel universe.
Yeah, like he's killed several storyboard several editors.
That the only other way of proving that the Fox universe was dead, rather than casting Evan Peters, would to do a short film of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool walking up to every single actor and shooting them in the head like he does at the end of Deadpool 2. Anyway, let's move on.
We get a little bit more of Vision fighting Vision, and it pans down to Tommy and Billy in their room in the house, kind of watching, feeling like they should do something, and they realize that they have to help.
Well, it's Tommy senses his mum's anguish.
Yeah, he hears that all of the people have woken up and have started talking to her. So that then snap cuts over to those people basically pleading with Wanda to let them free, saying that, as we've discussed, that they feel her grief, that they've been living her nightmares, and it's really dark because the one lady, the boss's wife from episode 1, says, just, you know what, kill us. Like, why don't, if you're not going to free us, kill us.
I'm sorry if I'm getting up and down. My seat's broken. I don't want to fall.
We need real studio chairs and not dining tables.
So work with what you got.
So at that point, as a sort of like a show of force and to show like her strength and her fortitude on the matter, she rips open the hex and tells everyone, you know what? This isn't me. I would never do this.
I am a good guy.
I am a good person. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
So the good thing about that, then, that to me, though, as I say, shows Wanda as consciously Wanda through Clint, through being an Avenger, through Vision. She is a good person. And subconsciously is how she's done all this. And because she's not in full control of her powers. We know that as the episode goes along, that she's learning these
and she
chaos
has certain
powers.
levels of awareness of what she's doing, as we know from the episode when she comes out the hex and tells Hayward to fuck off.
Yeah. But I think the big one from that scene was takeaways. She doesn't realise that. The big takeaway from it. I don't think she realised that her pain and her suffering was being transmitted and everybody in Westview was living her pain. I don't think she knew that.
No. So, at this point, Hayward and the rest of SWORD outside the hex realise that this is their chance, and so they take the opportunity, get into their Humvees, and broom into town.
All right, I just want to say that. So, they send in a vibranium synthezoid to either kill Wanda or kill the Vision. What the fuck are they going to do? What? Why would you even go in there?
Well, he goes in and we'll get to it, but yeah,
it's the dumbest.
It's
move
also
ever.
like the whole plan is. It says Tony says to Loki, "Not a great plan."
Not a great plan.
Like,
It's not.
What is life?
Yeah. So
no, honestly, what is his plan?
whose?
Like, so he sends the White Vision in to kill Wanda,
Right.
but inevitably he starts getting into a fight with other Vision. Hold on. Let me say my piece.
Yep.
So then, why does he go inside?
Because White Vision says that he's sent in to destroy Vision, even though at the beginning it says they've obviously sent White Vision in to kill Wanda and the fake Vision.
I don't think they know what they're doing.
Why they go charging in there because they haven't got any fucking special Chitauri weapons. They've just got
they
guns.
don't know if the hex will close on them again.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's a dumb move.
I've said all along though the worst elements of the show are the
sword stuff.
The stuff going outside.
Well, they do. They go charging in with absolutely no fucking idea what they're going to do. They could get blipped out of existence, but they still go charging in.
But we also get a moment in that kind of like. It's a little bit heart-wrenching, but it also reveals something about the hex. But as soon as she starts tearing the hex open, Vision and the boys also start falling apart.
And now we talk about Easter eggs there. That was a really nice nod on how they're breaking down. If you look at it closely, they're breaking down in like little Tetris blocks. That was the cover. Yeah, that was the cover from the House of M comic. Is Wanda when she loses it, she breaks down in those little blocks. So that's a nice nod to the comics. It's got nothing. It's got nothing. It's got nothing to bear with the actual story. It was just a nod to the comics.
Yeah, and so Agatha points out. Now, Agatha's basically, every time Agatha speaks to her, she's taunting her. She says, look, you tied your family to this twisted world that you're living in, so now they can't live outside of it. Now you basically have no choice but to live inside. And at this point, she continues to start leeching power from Wanda. She shoots purple crap at her. Wanda defends them, but then leeches the power back. And Wanda's hands are all going black and stuff, and
like
it's like,
like her sisters and her mum from last week's episode.
Going to die.
So Kushal seems to think that now that White Vision's got his memories back and all that, do you think we'll see him again? 100% we'll see him again.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So the Visions, however, end up crashing into a library.
Well, no. Before that, we have the Incredibles scene. So Sword come whip.
That's basically. Yeah.
So Sword come whipping around the corner after she's protected him, and Vision says,
"Did it again?" No. So hold on. It isn't. This is what I'm talking about. We're going quick.
No, they do that scene before they go into the library.
Oh, you're talking about just the whole.
Yeah, the Incredibles.
All right, so you're not talking about because when Wanda tells the boys to keep an eye on the military.
Yeah,
people.
that's this part.
It isn't. That comes after. So
No.
We have that moment and where Vision says to the boys. It's like, boys, your mother and I didn't prepare you for this. And she says, but they were but you were born for this. And then we have the pose. Vision flies off.
The fight, and gets thrown into the library.
Wanda tells the kids to look after the to keep an eye on the military people.
Tommy freezes their mind, a la Professor X, and then Billy runs around and nicks all the stuff. And a nice little nod there I liked is when he stops and they high-five each other, he's got a sword hat on and one of the guy's glasses. I thought that was pretty funny.
And so they crash into a library.
Okay, so I just want to come back to this because this is going to be a big talking point. Let's just talk about what the kids do there first.
Well, yeah, that's literally my next footnote. Monica does jump to the boys' aid because Hayward is about to shoot them, which, again, not a great plan. What is he trying to do? What is he... What? Is he trying to test to see if the kids are bulletproof?
Or real? But yeah.
Was that his plan all along? Like, you got to kill the kids? Like...
But the good thing...
They just needed to turn him into a child murderer because otherwise he's really not that much of a villain. Yeah. But now he openly tried to shoot 2 kids. So hey, this is a real bad guy now.
Monica defends him. She uses her powers to stop the bullets. One gets by, and then
it's interesting because that power is very much like Synthezoid's melding power.
Yeah.
Has Monica picked up all of the different powers that basically Wanda has projected?
Because she's a character that I've not really read in any comic.
I don't care. I'm not talking about comics. I'm just talking about this. So she had to go through the hex.
Yeah.
Which was created by Wanda. The kids and Vision were created by Wanda. So has she basically picked up a little kind of an
bit of Monica,
an amalgamation of
a little bit of Monica.
Yeah, a little bit of an amalgamation of all the powers of that everybody. Maybe she even picked up a bit of Agatha's powers. That's why she could see purple, like you said.
What I think it is, her powers are light based. Stuff travels through light's not a solid substance, so the bullets travel
photons.
Yeah, and that's what slowed it down. And then the last one that gets by, Tommy stops it with telekinesis.
Well, because she is called Captain Photon, isn't she, as well?
Spectrum, Photon, yeah, she goes by lots of different names.
So...
Dave.
She has the ability to turn herself into light.
Yep.
But that's also what the Synthezoid is doing when he... Like, that's what he can...
Well, he's turning into... Yeah, they call it phasing. That was...
Well, but yeah, because it's changing the phase of the phase of the matter. So
that was
from photonic energy into material energy.
Yeah, like a holodeck.
Yeah.
Vision's just a gigantic...
I'm telling you, Monica's got an amalgamation of all the powers that were related to Wanda's connection with the Mind Stone.
Let's put that one in theory column.
Yeah, okay, so moving...
under Mephisto.
Yeah, didn't you want to say something important about this bit?
No, what I wanted to say is the fact that she shows another aspect of her powers and Tommy shows his powers from the comics. And she gives him a good nod, and they're obviously kind of like, hey... Good on you. But you're right. It shows Hayward out to be a complete dick. And then he jumps in a Humvee, backs off, and Darcy plows into him with the truck.
Yeah, so meanwhile, with Visions...
All right, so just one thing before we get into the library vision. Because I know we said we didn't like the some of the effects for the fighting. But one thing I did like how they used is how the 2 Synthezoids kept using the phasing technology to grab hold of the other one. So he'd punch him, and he'd then trap his hand.
Recommendation moving forward. Let me finish my point and then you go to that rather than interrupting me.
Well, I thought you were going to go to the library.
Well, I am. But then what you just said, though, bears no consequence on that. You can always go back and say that.
Yeah, that happens throughout the fight.
Anyways, so we're in a library, and which basically is my favourite part of the entire episode because I really like, as I've said before, the cerebral, metaphysical, cool, interesting stuff in the show so far. I'm not as much of a fan of all the typical MCU crap. And we get this moment where I was supposed to write down the quote, but he says, you cannot be the Vision, and he says, well, what if I am merely just what's the word he uses? It begins with C of the Vision. Maybe I am just I'm
not quite sure, but
he says maybe I'm just something. I'm a variant of the Vision, and he's like, okay.
He basically says I'm not the real Vision.
So White Vision turns around and says, okay, well, elaborate.
I'm not the real Dread Pirate Roberts either.
And so at that point, they kind of have this little squaring off where Wanda's Vision brings up the whole existential discussion of the thought process.
It's the White Vision that asks for it.
Yeah, he said elaborate. Yeah, so Vision. No, he means elaborate on what he means by that. I am not. I am merely just a form of of the Vision. So he turns around and says elaborate, and so Wanda's Vision elaborates by asking if he's familiar with the thought exercise of the Ship of Theseus, which, for anybody who doesn't know or who hasn't watched, the Ship of Theseus is this idea. It's basically if you've got a broom and you replace all the bristles and the handle. Do you still have this? Is it the same broom, or have you?
All right, Trigger.
Or do you have a different broom? Well, he uses the Ship of Theseus.
The thing I like about that discussion is it's like the two sides of Vision figuring it out together. Even though up until this moment, White Vision's been evil, it's at this point that you see Vision basically says to him. They use the Ship of Theseus, but Vision basically, Wanda's Vision, I'm going to call him, basically tells him, you are all the nuts and bolts that make up Vision.
Yeah, that's why he brings up the Ship of Theseus. Because you've got the ship, right? But without Theseus ever having been on the ship, it's just a ship.
Yeah.
It becomes the Ship of Theseus because he interacts with it. He walks on it. He sails on it. That's the point he's trying to make. So the difference between the two of them is you've got the physical, then you've got the metaphysical. You've got all the memories are locked away physically in there, but the personality, the consciousness has to come from something. And so he asks White Vision, "Do you trust me? May I?" And White Vision lets him interface with him.
It says synthesoid bodies' memories can be locked away but never deleted.
Never deleted, just like an actual hard drive.
Yeah.
Unless you put a drill through it, I guess.
Yeah, and then it doesn't
put a drill through White Vision.
Oh, your big chunky fingers. So
he asks him if he can interface with him. He interfaces with him, and we have this moment where all of a sudden they mirror each other, and his eyes clear up, and he's got Vision's eyes, like they're not these crazy like I'm an evil robot eyes anymore, and they just say, "We are Vision."
Does he? I think he says, "I am Vision," and then he flies off.
Well. Either way,
because I took that the first time I was watching it, I took it to the point of Wanda's Vision was transferring his consciousness into him. But then again, watching it the second time, if that Vision is not real, because we know that's just a part of the Mind Stone that lives in, that's her memories of Vision. But Vision's memories are locked away in White Vision, and Wanda's Vision unlocks that and brings his Vision back, which is why what Kishore was saying earlier, I do believe White Vision 100% is going to show up again. I don't know where, but he's definitely going to show up.
Well, Hayward can track him for one thing.
He can track vibranium.
But again, though, counter to what you were saying, the whole point of the whole thought exercise of the Ship of Theseus is to make the White Vision realize that he is the rigging, he is the bolts, he is the planks.
Yeah,
but he's not
the mold or any of that.
He needs his Theseus. He needs his Theseus on the planks, walking on the ship. The metaphysical, right?
He needs the part that gives him life.
That makes him a living thing.
Yeah,
which is what Wanda's Vision is able to give him, and that's because
unlock. Yeah,
because he is a fragment. Yeah, not unlock. That's the same thing as transferring consciousness. Yeah, no, you're right. Unlock. So anyway, I knew we'd talk the most about this.
That's why I wanted to see because the whole mirroring was a great way of shooting it, especially with them slowly panning around each other. I like the fact that after watching it a second time, it was obvious to me that Wanda's Vision is unlocking the Vision, which
well, here, let me ask you this.
Well, like it is, she wants some good stuff to come for Wanda, which means after all this, is Vision still out there? So Vision and Wanda can reunite. So there is potential good out there for Wanda.
I also have to say, this is where thought, provocative, cerebral stuff really just gets my gears going. So, you are a living thing, right? Descartes, I think, therefore I am, right? You have your identity. He even says that, Vision. Because he asks him, because Vision says, well, if this is the case, if I am the Vision and I have all of the material in me of the Vision, then but you're saying that I am nothing without the experience, then if you think you are Vision, then technically you are the Vision. So what's going on there is, it's like this idea that, you know you are a living being because you think, therefore I am, right? But there's a different variant of you for every person who knows you. there is a different Matthew Jones in every single head of every person you've ever met. And just for me, there's a different Michael Jones.
Yeah.
Like, myself is different from what you perceive me as. And so, that's why Wanda's perception of him, the vision that we've had throughout the series so far, is an important, integral part of White Vision remembering and becoming True Vision.
Yeah. And
who knows? Maybe he needs to go meet up with other people who know him. Maybe if he sees Thor, he gets a little bit of information from Thor about who he is.
I think that might be a good way of using him in the future. That he just pops up.
Yeah.
And then his Luke Skywalker level cameo is him just showing up in everybody else's IPs.
Do you have anything more to say on that bit?
No, I thought that was an exceptional scene. And then I just want to point out there, though, because we might miss this. White Vision then then buggers off, and Wanda has no... Because her vision never tells her what never see what happens. So as far as Wanda's concerned...
But it's intentional, if you ask me.
I think it is. So, so then we move out of there and...
Yeah, so Wanda, however, now is back. We go back to the fight between her and Agatha, and they fight aboard at the top of the theatre, and she pulls her old...
Wiggly Woos.
Yeah, Wiggly Woos magic, like from Age of Ultron, and we get a memory that we got from the first episode, from the first scene of the last episode, of Agatha being judged by the Coven, and at this point, we get the impression Wanda's got the upper hand, but no, we get it all. We get the old switcheroo from Agatha, because all of the ladies of the Coven reanimate and get up, and they all start coming and converging on Wanda.
Yeah. And if you think about it, what Wanda does with Tony Stark, because he's of a weaker mind, she can manipulate him, but she thinks she can manipulate Agatha, but Agatha actually uses that manipulation to manipulate her. So she acts like, "Oh, you've got me here. Oh no. Oh,
I think the manipulation of the manipulated manipulates what manipulates the manipulator.
Manipulator, yeah.
Anyway, we got a question.
Kashal says, "Do we think Darcy was a bit sidelined?" I think it was intentional. She'd done what she needed to do.
Yeah, she was pretty irrelevant in this final episode.
Yeah, she showed us that she's a phenomenal hacker as well as astrophysicist, and she stopped Hayward. I don't think she needed to do anything else.
It would have been cool to see if all the people though who got hit by the Hex and who were affected by the Hex all had superpowers. I still think that's that's a Chekhov's gun, if you ask me, left on the table.
Maybe. So Wanda has it turned around on her, and they pin her up against the witch's stake. And she basically says to her, "If you give me all your power, I can fix your mistake in the spell
and let you live out your fantasy.
Let you live out your life with Vision and the kids." Yeah. So she's trying to manipulate her, obviously, because Agatha's very one-dimensional.
Obviously.
Yeah. And I don't want to say this because the show's been really good, but Agatha's very one-dimensional. Yeah, she just wants Scarlet Witch's power.
She's the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah. So
she should have been green and riding around on a broom.
So Wanda agrees to give her power, but it's just before that scene when the crown first starts to appear. That to me is the birth of the Scarlet Witch. As in, like, the fact that Wanda knows she is the Scarlet Witch, and she's accepting it. She's accepting her fate.
We'll get into theory crafting later, but because I said that one of the major themes of this series is the power of the subconscious mind.
Oh yeah,
and I'm convinced she's, because she says it. It's not subtext. She says it in a line. She says, "I know who I am." But in response to her talking about her power and her being the Scarlet Witch, which means she's always deep down known since she got experimented on that she was the Scarlet Witch.
Well, no, she's known she's had power. What I'm saying is,
she's always known she was the Scarlet Witch somewhere deep down.
She has no idea what the Scarlet Witch was until
we're talking subconscious here.
And I'm saying consciously, this is the point where she embraces being the Scarlet Witch.
Consciously.
And this is why it's the birth of the Scarlet Witch. The point at which she realizes now...
The birth of the Scarlet Witch was inside Hydra's lab at Sokovia.
No, she always had it from birth.
Okay, we'll compromise here. What that was the analogy is the gestation of the fetus that will become Scarlet Witch.
And she was born... in this flashback, when she comes out, that's when she knows she is the Scarlet Witch. She knows what she needs to do, and they go and have their Zod Superman fight in the sky.
Okay. So anyway, first, after Agatha tempts Wanda, as we were just discussing, they then continue to fight with Wanda at this point seemingly giving up. And like she's like very much like the Hulk scene with
take it all.
Take it all. Yeah, you can have it. Take it all. And she's missing left, right, and center. Wink, wink. But this time it's Wanda's turn for the old switcheroo.
It's a switcheroo.
Yeah, it's a switcheroo within a switcheroo. That's like 16 switcheroos. And so she basically bides her time until the point in which Agatha thinks she's won, and Wanda reveals.
But Agatha does the classic bad guy who doesn't realize they're being tricked. She tries to do her magic. She tries to do it again, and it's how many? That's like
cliche.
It's the Superman 2. The lights were on out here, where you were safe in there. Because Sod and those guys don't realize.
And Loki going up to Tony with the scepter. This usually works.
Yeah. But I like it, the fact that she modified her face to make it look like, to sell it, and then all of a sudden she comes back and
turns out she was placing runes on the hex. Yeah. And she's like, thanks for the lesson, which was actually a really good badass moment for Wanda.
Oh, it was awesome.
Gives us 100% agency and makes her just feel as powerful as they're actually playing her up to be. And that is a real good. That's really good writing.
Well, and then she just sucks all the magical power out of her. Just like
makes you think, was she kind of subconsciously toying with her all along? Maybe. Subconsciously toying with her all along, so consciously she could learn all this stuff.
Well, the good thing about that scene is we get a really good reveal of her, and like her basically putting on the Scarlet Witch outfit, as I say, is my non-subtle way of saying, yes, I am accepting I am the Scarlet Witch.
Let's not forget that she's actually got a halter-top style Scarlet Witch suit now. She doesn't have to worry about...
She hasn't got the Joss Whedon one.
Yeah, she doesn't have to worry about being the only Avenger who's always showing cleavage.
Yeah. She lands, and then I believe that's when she imprisons Agatha.
She basically embraces this. At this point, she's embraced the Scarlet Witch, and she forces Agatha. See, I wouldn't have said birth. That's why I wrote. She's just embraced who she is. She's embracing the fact that she's the Scarlet Witch. She's not birthing the Scarlet Witch. So she embraces the fact that she's the Scarlet Witch and forces Agatha at this point to essentially live out a fake life of her own in Westview, which is kind of cruel. Which one is it?
Oh, it's me.
You bastard. Androids.
Oh, look at that, zoomed in.
You're really bright too. Sorry, what was the thought I was saying? Because there's actually a quote that I wrote down that I want to make sure I put in here. I swear I wrote it.
She says you can live out your life as the nosy neighbor.
Yeah, no, but it's something that Agatha says first. Turns out Wanda was placing runes on the hex. Thanks for listening, but I don't need you to tell me who I am. Yeah, there you go. That was the line I was thinking of as well. But she says, so Wanda says to Agatha that she is sorry for doing this, and Agatha retorts with, no, you're not. You're cruel. And it's kind of true. It's like, no, you don't have to do this. You could you if you want to do the right thing, what you do is, as she suggests, what, you're going to lock me up? You just let the authorities come in and lock her up. But no, she plays judge, jury, and executioner and forces her to live out this life that isn't hers. That is cruel.
But there's a reason for it as well, because Agatha says to it, she goes, you'll need me. You've unleashed something. You will need me in the future. And then she says, well, that's good, because I'll know where you are.
And where does that make that not cruel?
Well... But
Agatha's right, man. It is cruel what she does to her there.
Is it cruel to imprison a bad guy, an evil villain, an evil person?
It's definitely a cruel thing she does to Agatha, yes. She's not doing what the hero would do. Is that what Captain America would do?
No, he'd give him along to the authorities, then she'd escape and he'd have to go capture her again.
What would Tony do?
Tony would have done that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Tony was...
I don't think so.
Tony also kind of...
Daredevil wouldn't do that. He's not the bad guy.
No, Daredevil just kill her.
No, Daredevil would wait for the trial.
And then when she gets off, then he'd kill her.
But you know what I'm saying. It's basically in the subtext of that whole moment right there that Agatha is almost cursing her. She's almost cursing her with a doom slaying, just like all the Tolkien-esque stuff from the Silmarillion. She's basically saying you're cruel. You do this, and you will, this basically sets in stone your fate as a cruel.
It's no different than what Doctor Strange does to Dormammu.
But Dormammu was a big, giant, multi-dimensional being.
Bad guy. She's a bad guy.
Hold on. Big, multi-dimensional being coming to devour the universe.
How do you know Agatha wasn't going to do that with the Scarlet Witch power?
Agatha's a person. Like, you're really, really fighting me on this, even though this is an incredibly smart, astute observation.
Do you know what Agatha is? The line that should have been used for Agatha is, she's too dangerous to be left alive.
It's essentially what she says.
So is Mace Windu evil?
Well, yeah.
No, because he was bang on right. He should have murdered the Emperor.
Okay, so Anakin, right, doing what he thinks is right in that moment, basically says, this is not right. This is not the Jedi way. But he says he must live because he wants him to live. So he's using the actual code as a justification. What Mace Windu is doing is breaking the code. He's doing something that...
But the Jedi code's not right.
Yeah, that's why he has a purple lightsaber, mind you, other than the fact that he actually requested one.
But the Jedi code's wrong.
No, yeah, but Mace Windu...
Why are we talking about that?
Because you're arguing this really astute observation I made about... So, okay, tell me what the point of that conversation is then.
The point is that she knows that Agatha's too dangerous to be left in...
No. I want you to tell me why Agatha says, you're not sorry, in response to her apologizing to her, you're cruel. What's the point of that?
Because Agatha thinks she's cruel.
No. Characters in stories don't say things because they think, because they're not real. They say them because the person writing that line thinks
from
this.
her point of view, what she's doing...
Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, so hang on. So from Agatha's point of view, what Scarlet Witch is doing to her is cruel. From Scarlet Witch's point of view is she's too dangerous to be given over to the monkeys at Sword, so she's imprisoning her herself. That doesn't make her evil.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the question again. Why did the writer choose to have Agatha make that picture her and frame Wanda that way? They're not real people, don't forget.
No, to try and make Agatha more relatable, because she's going to pop up, just as we said. White Vision's going to pop up
to make her more relatable.
Yeah, because
you don't need to make her more relatable.
It's not signifying that Scarlet Witch is evil.
Okay, the quote is. I'm going to do this. So this isn't the quote. I'm going to do these things to you. The quote is, I'm sorry. Agatha, no, you're not sorry. You're just cruel.
No, she's... So basically, she's looking at it. You tried to take everything from me. And like anybody that seeks kind of revenge, because imprisoning her herself is a bit of revenge.
So you're justifying revenge?
Well, yeah.
So then, okay, so revenge is the thing good people do.
Is Deadpool a good guy?
No.
Then
Deadpool's not a good guy.
Then she's
Deadpool's what writers refer to as a anti-hero, Matthew.
Then that's what she is. She's not a villain. She's an anti-hero.
Well, no, but anti-heroes are a form of ambiguous villain. Yeah. They're a form of ambiguous hero. There's somewhere for,
and that's where I see Scarlet Witch going. She's going to be on the fence.
I'm just saying. I think you argue this because you don't want there to be even a slight possibility that Wanda is a bad guy of any kind. Right? I have made an astute observation that this line, as it's written, is there not to tell you what characters are thinking, but to show us in the text of the story that Agatha is cursing her as a cruel, unthinking, faultless person if she goes through with punishing her this way.
She is.
That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
She's going to draw. What's the word? Straddle the line.
It's fine. You don't agree with me, but I am making sure that statement is made clear, because that is what I see in the text.
Is Batman a hero?
Yes.
But he does cruel shit like that.
It's vigilante justice, though. It's very. So if you've got a spectrum and you've got Captain America and Superman all the way on this side, and you've got Emperor Palpatine and Thanos on. No, not even Thanos.
No, Thanos is. What Thanos is doing is justified.
He's ambiguous. Yeah, so he's ambiguous. Thanos comes further in the middle of the spectrum. We need someone else like Palpatine, who's super evil.
Doctor Doom.
No, Marvel. So like I said, you've got Captain America and Superman. Over here, you've got Zod.
Yeah, Zod's.
There you go.
Zod's Hitler.
Yeah,
he's space Hitler.
You've got Zod and you've got Palpatine. Somewhere on the spectrum in the middle, you've got Deadpool, who's pretty much right in the middle. You've got Thanos and Vader, who are over here somewhere on the right. You've got people like Tony Stark,
Don't
Batman.
use that word.
What word?
It's on the left for me. We'll get thumbs down if we say people on the right are like Vader and.
No, but I'm not talking about political or economic ideologies here.
People say.
Well, yeah, but anyone watching this will know there's context to it. There's a spectrum.
She's in the grey.
So are people with non-verbal learning disability because they're on the right side of the spectrum? Are they fucking
conservatives?
Now, come on. Stop
Wanda's in a grey area. I'll give you that.
Well, of course she is.
There you go.
It's so obvious.
Let's move on.
I don't understand why you're fighting me on this one.
No, she's grey. I've always said she's grey.
She's Jean Grey.
Do you know what? I got a very Phoenix feeling when she's taking the power off Agatha. I got, oh, look, somebody did the Phoenix saga well, but did it as Scarlet Witch instead.
So that's the end of all the MCU space laser skybeam shit. We did forget to mention the skybeam because it happens when she's breaking the hex.
Yeah,
that's the skybeam part.
It's a running joke. It's got to be in there. Then we
It did feel that way as I was watching it. I was like, oh no, they couldn't resist. They had to have a skybeam, even if it was just for a split second.
Then we come to the best part of the show for me.
Wanda realizes she must face her grief and brings down the hex with Vision and the boys within it, knowing full well what will happen to them. And so we get essentially the I don't want to say nod of recognition, but just like, because I don't think Vision really truly knows what's going to happen. He's aware now of what he is. He's aware, but not completely, because he's going to ask that later. And again with the kids, it's weird. We get this almost sort of like, it's like we got to shield them from what's going to happen. You know, like don't let them, make sure they're asleep before the ship sinks. But then she turns around and asks them the question. But I'm getting too far ahead of myself. So they
they were parents protecting their kids from the evils or nasties of things that were to come. I would expect it. I would expect it. It's what parents do. They shield their children from it. And because if she said, "Oh, listen, boys, we're going to go home, and you're just going to vanish out of existence," nice.
but like I say though, so they go in, they go home. We see the hexes collapsing. They take them to go to bed, and they have this really good moment with the kids, where you get this like, you're gonna go to bed. This was a really long day and all that. But before she leaves them, she turns around and she says
just one before she says this as well. She says, "Family is forever." That's an important line as well.
Who else has said that recently?
I can't remember.
Is it something Marvel related?
I don't know. But
I'm pretty sure it's a mum who said it in the previous episode. But
she might have done.
I feel like someone said that before. Family is forever.
Well, because that then comes back to the end credit scene. The family is forever line.
That's gonna kill me if I don't remember where I've heard that from before, because I have heard it recently. Family is forever.
So she says family is forever. Then they leave the room.
But no, before they leave the room, she turns around and says to them, "Thanks for choosing me to be your mum."
I think that's throwing a line out there that Wanda might think that chaos magic has some kind of sentience, maybe.
Well, and it's also, you can take it literally. She didn't shag anyone and birth and carry anyone for 9 months. So she's, if you take it literally, it's her turning around and saying, "I know that you're not really my children, but
thank you for giving me the opportunity."
That's why I said it kind of felt almost like a a nod moment. It's like,
honestly, that entire scene's very touching, and then you got the scene as they come down.
I'm not done with that yet, though.
All right, got it.
Like, that's very strange. It's almost like a nod of recognition from her to something.
No, to me that is her. As I say, the power of chaos magic is what she's saying. She's saying to the kids, "Thank you for choosing me."
How do you know that? Where does it say that?
No, but that's what because that's my interpretation. You saying, "Oh, I'm interpreting it as a nod to the camera." I'm not interpreting it that way.
No. I'm not interpreting. I'm telling you what my interpretation is here. I'm telling you that so if you take that literally, right? Thanks for choosing me to be your mom. Those are specific words.
Yeah, and she's
so you chose me. I'm acknowledging that you are something with agency that could choose.
Yeah, the power of chaos magic. That's what because her kids are made up of chaos magic. That's what she created them through chaos magic. So she's kind of acknowledging to the chaos magic. Thank you for choosing me to be your mother.
I'm thinking it's more of, so here's my interpretation. It's more of, she's aware that that these are conscious beings. And they are conscious beings. We actually get to see their point of view several times throughout the episode.
But we don't know that the power of chaos magic might not have sentience. It might have. If Vision's got it.
The Mind Stone.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking she's throwing it at.
Right, but
because the Mind Stone is also the part.
We also know though that she's aware that Vision is part of the Mind Stone that's inside her. Mm-hmm. So, like I say, what you're saying about the chaos magic is very. It doesn't. There's no suggestion of that. Your interpretation there is very much conjecture.
The kids are a physical manifestation of her power, and you can't say to yourself, "Your power inside." Oh, thanks for that.
So where's the okay? So where's the consciousness though? If it's physical manifestation, what's the consciousness?
There's nothing in the show to even put a nod to what it is. That's the one thing the show never does.
Except for this line, "Thanks for choosing me to be your mum."
But it doesn't say where it's come from.
Yeah, no, but you're saying your interpretation says it. You know where it comes from. You are assuming it comes from that she's thanking the chaos magic. Yeah. Whereas I think she's turning around and she's basically telling, because it's almost as well with the way it's framed. Don't forget, she turns around and she's basically looking at the audience as she says it. "Thanks for choosing me to be your mum." Then pans back and it shows the kids.
I thought she's looking off down to the bed, so the camera's here and the beds are over there.
It's framed so that we see her turn around and she starts saying "Thanks for letting me be your mum," and then cuts back to over the shoulder to the kids, and the kids don't say anything. They don't say, "You got it, you betcha." They don't even, but they also don't
acknowledge it.
They don't like.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? I'm pretty sure that those kids are they're something else. They are something else.
Well, we find out in that children exist.
Yeah. Getting really heated here.
Hey, go on. Next one.
Makes for good television, but we do need to move on here so we can get to theory crafting at some point. So Viz and Wanda put the boys to bed, and then they do tell them that they're proud of them and all that jazz. And then when they leave them, they go downstairs, and at this point, get some more of that cerebral stuff. The hex is basically coming down. Wanda's telling Vision that, that she's okay and that she's finally come to terms with all this sort of stuff in a nutshell. But he does say to her, he asks her, like, he's not ambivalent to all that. He's aware of all that. But the one thing he doesn't know, and he asks her sincerely, like, "What am I?"
Yeah.
And she turns around and unambiguously tells him that you're essentially the part of the Mind Stone that lives in me. You're a body of wires and blood. You're my sadness. You're my hope. But you're also my love.
And my husband.
I think she says
you're
my love.
Then he drops a tear.
Yeah.
And then Vision,
which harkens back to her and Vision hanging out at Avengers headquarters in that one flashback of him not knowing what it's like to lose a loved one because he's never had a loved one to lose.
Well, at that point, Vision basically says something very meta as well. That
meta.
He was a voice
meta.
Yeah, he was a voice without a body, Jarvis. And then I think he says he was a body without a soul before he gets given the Mind Stone. And then he's like, "I wonder what I'll be next." So even that Vision believes that there's another incarnation of him coming.
And she does tell him as well, "I'll see you again."
Well, yeah, that's what he said. "I've said goodbye to you before." And then she says...
His quote is that "I am now a memory made real."
Yes, from the not Soul Stone, the Mind Stone that lives within it. It's her memories of him.
So, it all collapses, comes down, but this time, rather than a horrible, like, being ripped apart, it looks like nice, and he's been disassembled until finally his face is there, and he says, "So long, my love."
Well, I took that as well as because she said, "You are the Mind Stone that lives inside me, the memories." She's basically reabsorbing him.
Yeah.
And yeah, she finally gets to say goodbye to her loved one, which she never got.
Yeah, I thought that was the good icing on the cake, cherry on top for the whole grief themes of this show.
She still has a lot to deal with, though.
Well, yeah, but that's the theme of grief. That's how they resolve it. Is that you can't hide from it. Mm-hmm. You can't run away from it. You have to face it.
This to me was the entire thesis of this entire show. Was how you deal with grief.
It was not the entire thesis, but yes,
predominantly.
It's one of the major themes of the show,
and not we're setting up 10 billion baddies for the next phase.
I think you and I need to do it. We need to go find a little like filmmaking course online so that we don't not saying stupid shit like that all the time. Because I do it too.
Yeah. Then the good thing we find is when the hex collapses, that Westview is beat to shit, like from when
Wanda basically wanders off out of the demolished house, and she heads to the center of town, and the people have come back.
And they're all looking at her
and judging her and whatnot. And she's clearly a lot of visual, facial acting and whatnot of that. She's aware there's nothing she can do to
make things right.
To make things right with these people. And but we do get a moment with Monica where Monica essentially gives her a level of absolution.
And also Wanda also says that she's sorry for what she's done. She doesn't understand her power, but she will.
And Monica also points out as well, it's a shame that they'll not know what you did for them.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a silly thing for Monica to say, because if it wasn't for her, she wouldn't have had to have done it in the first place.
But she did have to make the conscious decision to sacrifice her family for the better good.
Yeah.
Which is, again, more grief that Wanda has to deal with.
Could she not have just done that without? Could she not go out into the middle of nowhere and make a private hex where there's no one but her and her children?
Yeah, why she had to do it in a town? Well, no, because remember, when she did it, she didn't realize what she was doing.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Why doesn't she do that now? Why didn't she just condense the hex down into a field just outside her Westview?
Oh, just that house.
Oh, well, because the house isn't there.
No.
So it's not like they have to...
But the kids would be stuck to the house. That'd be them putting the kids and Vision in a prison.
Until she figures out how to get them.
Yeah.
All the stuff she's doing in the infinite scene.
But she's...
I don't know. This is getting bordering on the... Shut up. Don't ask those questions. Just enjoy the show.
Before the end credits, though, it's obvious that Wanda realizes that she can't be around people. Mm-hmm. And, she flies off into...
She flies off into the sunset. And we get a mid-credits scene, because that's the end.
Which was a really weird mid-credit scene for me, because you've been vague and ambiguous this entire series. Why not just say, Fury wants a word with you, he's up there? Why do you say...
Because anybody watching knows what it means. Yeah, Monica goes into the theatre where she's been summoned by one of the Sword agents, who then quickly reveals that she's a Skrull, and she's obviously sent by Nick Fury.
and that
says that he'd like to see her, and she's like, where?
Well, that's setting Monica up to be one of the main characters in the Secret Invasion TV show. And then we get the best end credit scene, because it is at the end. But to me, this says a huge amount of where Wanda is going to go in the future.
I just wrote down Wanda in the secluded mountain scene.
Well, so this is why...
this is basically, I think that's it. Let's open up and start talking our theory crafting.
Okay, well, let me just go over this scene, because there's a lot to unwrap in this scene, realistically. So, Wanda's obviously isolated herself, because she feels that she's a threat to everybody. We see her sat on the steps, kind of like, looks like she's mourning and dealing with it. And then she walks in, and it's her. Then the camera pans by her, and then you see her spectral form in a Scarlet Witch outfit studying the Darkhold and doing magic. We know the Sorcerer Supreme used to do that, but his body would have
the Sorcerer Supreme?
Sorcerer Supreme, the Tomato Sorcerer Supreme. This Doctor Strange had to be asleep while he was in his spectral form and studying, where she can actually wander around the house making coffee while she's in spectral form, which shows that she is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme.
We knew that, though, because it was already said earlier.
And then as she's going through her magic, she hears her kids, probably from another reality. And very last thing, she swipes the camera left, I think it is. So, like, she's learning from the Darkhold, which isn't a good thing. This is now pushing more towards how you think she's going to go in her character arc, because the Darkhold...
Don't assume you know me, because you don't. In our arguments about her ambiguous nature, you are not really seeing eye to eye with me. You're not realizing what I think.
You think she's going to be the villain. And if she is,
okay,
the Darkhold will corrupt her.
We have to stop using the term villain.
The bad guy.
She's a Magneto.
Yeah. Well, because she is. It's her dad.
She's an antagonistic protagonist, anti-hero, villain, good guy, bad guy.
This book she's got now, if she is going to go off the deep end,
she's super complex.
Well,
this is a fucking gold mine for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
The Darkhold was created by the demon Cthulhu, who is a bad guy.
Did you have to do a 40-man raid to get it off?
Yeah, you have to hit a big fucking eye. But he's like Dormammu. He's that evil. And he created the Darkhold and poured all his evil into it.
Is Dormammu evil, though? Because we were asking that earlier. We're talking about ambiguity and stuff. Like
he wanted to take over the...
There is a comic, a Fantastic Four comic, which kind of explores the idea behind whether or not is Galactus truly evil.
No, he's just hungry.
Yeah, well, is Dormammu truly evil, or is he just hungry?
Unicron's not evil, he's just hungry.
It's more Cthulhu-esque than complete true evil. It's more horrors beyond our comprehension, I find... that kind of situation.
This is where I think that, because they've said Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is going to be MCU first horror movie. It's being directed by Sam Raimi, who is a great horror movie director. I think this is where the Darkhold, Wanda Maximoff, and potentially all these people from Mephisto, Nightmare, or Cthulhu, or whoever it is, might come into it.
2 weeks from now, no one will even know what Mephisto is, so don't worry about it.
No, because in 2 weeks from now, they'll be like, who's Zemo working with? Yeah. Is he working with Doctor Doom? When's Reed Richards showing up?
Yeah, is Captain America... Is Captain America gonna use more serum to bring him to de-age himself and bring him back into the fold?
Yeah. Falcon shit. Get Captain America back. So yeah, the theory crafting will go bananas in 2 weeks. But as far as that end scene,
no, I'm gonna wait till we're off camera for that joke. That's a little bit on the nose.
As far as that end scene goes, that sets up Wanda's actually learning from the book, basically the evil book of magic, to try and find a way to get her kids back. That's what I got from that.
The Necronomicon.
The Darkhold basically is the MCU's Necronomicon.
And Sam Raimi is going to be filming a movie about multiverses.
And a horror movie.
Could you imagine? Like,
if Ash shows up?
No, well, yeah, Bruce Campbell is in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. He's in all of them.
What if it turns out that he was Ash all along?
Yeah.
Living out different lives.
And he goes up to Wanda and says, "Give me some sugar, baby."
I honestly want that. I want Ash in the MCU.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Anyway, I don't think we need to wait, because I don't think there's another series of WandaVision. I think it's a one and done.
Opinion-wise, no, but like there's probably will be.
There's been no hint to it, though.
There's an interesting side note to that. So this episode was called
the series finale. I thought you were looking for it. I was just telling you.
No. The series finale. I just wanted to get my notes back up. Not season finale.
Series
finale.
That's why I don't think there'll be another one. It's the finale of the series.
And you want to go on about me being the bloody text police? Like, that's unambiguous.
Yeah.
Take that literally for what it is. It means this is the series.
I honestly think all the MCU shows will be like that. I think Loki will be a one and done. I think Falcon Winter Soldier will be a one and done. There's no need for them to make TV shows when they make movies. TV shows should be the bit that bridge the gap.
Well, it's what the Star Trek guys wanted to do originally before Discovery came out. They wanted it to be more anthology-like, where one series follows these people, and then that person immediately spins off into the next season is another season.
You mean a bit like the Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, sort of like that, exactly. And I feel like that's probably what Kevin Feige and Disney Plus are trying to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe TV series.
Yeah.
Like, Season 2 is actually Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Season 3 is Loki.
I could see that, and like I could probably see the Silver Vision showing up in Falcon and Winter Soldier at some point.
White Vision.
I don't think we'll see Wanda until Doctor Strange's movie.
And that's Doctor
Strange's movie, and I think that's about all the theory crafting we need to do.
Oh, I don't. It's the finale. We should just keep going.
Well, what else do you think we need to theory craft?
Well, let's first of all talk about our now spoiler-filled overall opinions of the series. Because if you've got no theories, then I've got no theories. But there's more we can discuss.
So, the aerospace engineer was nobody. Mephisto is not showing up. Nightmare is not showing up.
Yeah, but do you want to know, though, for all of the stuff people didn't get wrong, it turned out Agnes was Agatha Harkness.
Yeah. Well, the funny
Credit
thing,
where it's due,
the funny thing is somebody said, the reason why I never doubled down on that is because it was so obvious. And it turned out to be true.
Yeah.
Ralph is because someone said Ralph's Jimmy Woo's missing person.
No, someone didn't say that. I said that.
Oh, did you say that as well? Because I don't think that's Ralph's
Matthew,
house.
You know I said that.
That's Ralph's house. It
was my
there.
theory crafting from last week.
I don't
from Wednesday. Sorry.
I don't see Ralph as being the missing person.
Oh no, not anymore. Definitely not.
No,
I just think the whole missing person thing, though, however, is it's definitely a loose thread.
Yeah,
it's not a plot hole or anything, but it's definitely a loose thread. Because that's the reason that. So he's called out there to find a missing person.
Mm-hmm. Find his missing witness protection.
Yeah. So she, though, comes a sword because they find out about the hex through the FBI's missing person case.
Yeah.
So you could wave that thread away by saying, oh, one of the missing persons was just one of the people inside Westview.
Well, no, because it's a missing witness. They're in the witness protection program living in Westview.
Yeah, exactly.
So it might realistically.
It could have been any one of them. That's what I'm saying. It could have been any one of them. That's how you pull that thread away, and it's no longer.
That was just a way to introduce Jimmy.
Yeah, it just so happened that Jimmy's witness protection person was just one of the people in Westview,
and it was a way to introduce Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp into the wider MCU. I don't believe any of the Reed Richards, Mephisto, anything people were talking about there.
Yeah, but it's mind-boggling because I have friends who believe he's already been cast. And I'm like, I hate to have to be one of those know-it-all, insufferable know-it-all assholes who tells my friends...
No, you love it.
No, you're wrong. No, I don't. I hate it. It's not fun to be an insufferable know-it-all. I had to tell him, and it's like, you're wrong. And I got in this deep argument about it. It's like, no. So what you're basing your knowledge on is these rumors that have been around, and they're not even really rumors. They're more just fan hopes.
They're
and
just
speculation.
two idiots sat across the table at each other making shit up.
It's fan hopes and speculation that Krasinski will be cast. And then he turned around and he's like, oh yeah, but there was this whole thing about how Krasinski was supposed to be Captain America. I'm like, well, he was supposed to be Captain America. That doesn't mean that these delusions that people have that he's going to be Reed Richards is true. It's like what's his face playing Luke Skywalker, Sebastian Stan.
Just because somebody did some really good deep fake.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's all over the fucking internet that Disney's going to be getting him. Oh man, I would have shit my pants if Sebastian Stan showed up. It's like no one said that was happening.
No.
Someone drew a picture, it looked really good, and then it exploded from there.
It went viral.
This is where I think some of the theory crafting stuff becomes a little bit problematic. Not just a matter of people getting pissed off because they were wrong, or people just having a good time making theories. It gets a little bit weird when it really does sort of change the online narrative around the rumor mill on a lot of these things.
It does, and I wish people would just enjoy the medium for what it is. WandaVision was a phenomenal series, and the main crux of the story was Wanda dealing with her grief. It also allowed us to introduce Photon. It also allowed us to introduce the Scarlet Witch officially and Chaos Magic.
People are allowed to enjoy things the way they want, though.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes, though, when you see them and they go so deep into it, and then when it doesn't happen, they get all pissy, and that's not enjoying it.
To me, the two issues are when it causes nastiness between keyboard warriors. That's not good. And also when it really affects the rumor mill. Because like I say, without all of these crazy theory crafting people online, no one would have ever been batting an eyelid towards the possibility of a John Krasinski cast.
Well,
Reed Richards cameo.
Honestly, watching WandaVision...
Could you imagine Reed Richards, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt at home? It's like, what's everyone talking about?
Yeah.
I
ain't got the contract.
I haven't even met Kevin Feige. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Me watching WandaVision, I did not think Reed Richards was showing up. I did not think Mephisto was showing up. I did not think Nightmare was showing up.
Not for a second. Neither did I.
The Agatha Harkness one, I was like, that's too on the nose. I don't see him being that obvious. And they were that obvious, but it was good and it was well handled.
Someone who watches me on my live stream summed it up perfectly. I was playing Mass Effect the other night. And there was a little side quest we were doing called the Firefighters, where you got to figure out who it is who's trying to sabotage your AI.
Yeah.
And this guy Ray X is, you know who it is.
Yeah.
Comes in and says it's Mephisto. Well, that sums it up perfectly.
It's like even when Evan Peters showed up, I did not think that was the Fox's Quicksilver. What was confusing was why did they cast him? But now I think about it, I think it's to show that universe is dead. We'll cast this guy as Ralph Boner and nobody in the show.
I don't think that's how people who make TV shows and films think. I think you're way off base on that one.
Well, we'll see.
If you wanted to do that, you would just make a statement. No, like an actual statement.
That was the big statement there. So, anything else you want to talk about WandaVision? Because I'm really looking forward. Let's talk about.
Let's talk about your overall impressions of the show.
8.5 out of 10.
We got too much into the theory crafting bitching.
8.5 out of 10. I loved the way they dealt with somebody of superhuman powers dealing with grief. Especially somebody that's had a lot of grief throughout their life. I liked the way it was shot. It was very unique. And it wasn't unique to the point where it was like, well, why is she doing it in the form of sitcoms? They addressed that in last week's episode. That's how she understands happiness.
It's how she hid from her grief. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really liked how it was filmed, how it not enveloped. How it unfolded, how it was like strict, how it was strict, sitcom, a little bit of not sitcom.
Well, here I broke it down here. So there's a certain episodes can be categorized into mini movies, and it's funny because the ones that stand alone are the two that were 50-minute runtimes.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, and 3 are their own film. They're basically 3 episodes of Wanda and Vision having.
WandaVision.
Having sitcom hijinks with little crazy meta situations thrown in here and there.
It was funny when I heard the premise for this. I'm like, how the fuck are they going to do this? And I saw the trailers. I was like, they're actually going 50s sitcom. How is this going to work? And I couldn't figure out how they were going to make it work, but it worked perfectly.
Yeah. So then 4 and 5, you got 4, which is exclusively outside of the hex. No, sorry. 4 is 5's the one that's exclusively outside of the hex. 4 is the one where we get the revelation of
Wanda knows
of who. Yeah, of that Wanda knows who Monica is and whatnot. We get Darcy is introduced to us. We find out why it's a television show or why it was someone watching a television show. So we basically episode 4 and 5 are their own are a movie.
Yeah,
because it all culminates with episode 5 where Wanda comes out and whatnot and tells everyone to fuck off and leave her alone. Monica lets her know that she's aware of what's going on and she believes that you're a good person and you're not doing this on purpose. And that episode ends with fake Pietro showing up. Then episode 6 and 7, again, their own little contained story of now we know everything's not what it seems, and Vision is slowly learning.
Yeah.
And we start to learn about what's going on outside with Hayward and Sword. We understand. We start to understand the fact that she can't keep it all together, and that this is not gonna last. And then episode 8 is the flashback episode with but we do get the revelation of Agatha at the end of episode 7 first. Yeah. And then episode 9 is the big finale.
Series.
So we've got so you basically got 4 1-hour
5 movies.
Yeah.
And
4 1 2 3 4 oh 5 no yeah sorry.
Yeah. And as I say,
count.
The way that they filmed it and the way that it was storyboarded like through that, before I watched it I was like, I have no idea how they're going to do it. And I love going into a show where I am like that and I'm like, I have no idea what this is about.
Do you know what's cool though? So I rewatched the first episode before watching the finale last night. Do you know the whole Love Heart thing? The whole Dick Van Dyke, I don't remember what this day means thing. You get the impression immediately from that first episode now, watching it in hindsight, that Vision, right, from the get-go, is trying to figure out what's going on, asking questions like, what is it we do here to his co-workers and whatnot?
Yeah, like he's just like somebody who's just been brought into existence.
But then you actually pay attention to Wanda's reactions to everything and you start to realize, holy shit, she knows what's going on. She's constantly trying to keep the mirage up, because when she knows what the heart means, but she's acting like she doesn't know what the heart means.
Yeah.
As a way, because all she's concentrating on is trying to keep Vision distracted from figuring out what the heart means. Because if he figures out what the heart means, he'll know that this is not real.
Yeah.
And so those first 3 episodes are actually culminating with her doing her side thing and blasting Monica out and whatnot, is literally her trying to keep the illusion up. And it's not until after that episode where things start falling apart.
Yes. Yeah.
I do think there was one little thing that wasn't resolved when she accidentally turns the mobile into real butterflies and she's like, did I do that? I think that's probably just to sort of try to suggest that there's a lot of subconscious shit going on with her as well.
To me, that kind of stuff happens throughout the entire show, where stuff happens and she's not consciously made it happen. Mm-hmm. Like the milk bottle changing.
Yeah. And winking at us, telling us there is themes of subconscious activity in this show. And so I honestly feel that its rewatchability is quite high.
Yeah, because you'll watch it with a different mindset.
Yeah, and you're not just rewatching to see what you can pick up on either, right? Which is what I did last night when I was rewatching it. I actually was watching last night, and I was starting to realize just how much extra information there is story-wise going on. Like the whole bit when she's in the first episode when she's going, "Stop it, stop it, stop it." That happens when the boss starts to choke.
And she's not paying attention to the wife.
Exactly, but there's an interesting sequence. So she's losing. Yeah, she's having to keep all of this up, but she's losing control because she doesn't want this guy to die. But she doesn't want Vision to find out what's going on. But she has to ask. She says to Vision, help him.
Well, in that aspect, it's very much like a computer game then, because the first time you play through, you play it a certain way, and then the second time you play through, you know the storyline. But you play it differently. You approach the medium differently, and that's what I'm gonna figure out when I watch this again.
What my point was is that you're not seeing these things and like noticing things that you didn't notice before. You're actually noticing different ways to interpret what you've seen before.
That's what I mean, like a computer game.
You can actually enjoy it again now. It's like that's why I say it's rewatchability. So we know now that dinner table moment is the first wink and the first instance of she can't keep complete control of this, right? You know that.
Yeah, I think it's only worth rewatchability a couple of times. Though.
I don't know. I feel like I could probably watch this again a few more times. But because the second time as I'm watching it, I'm not just watching that as like acknowledging, oh, that's cool. Now I know what that means. I'm actually like being sucked in again, and I'm like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. So like, it's not just it's not just a matter of this was trying to let us know there was something up. There really was something up. Like there was something that she couldn't do here, something that was affecting her and was affecting everything going on around us.
I might rewatch it all before Falcon Winter Soldier in 2 weeks. Then
I'm gonna wait.
You're gonna give it.
The only reason I watched episode 1 last night was because I was waiting for you to be done watching episode 9.
All right.
And so I think if I was to rate each part of the show, I would say the first 3 episodes on rewatch, especially the episode 1 now, would probably rate higher.
They were definitely interesting as well, how they were shot.
Yeah, because I was thinking all along, I was like, man, this is not going to have any rewatchability because all this is reveal after reveal after reveal. But you go back and you realize that it's not just about reveals anymore. It's actually about how intricately things were revealed to us. And so I would give episodes 1, 2, and 3 an 8 out of 10.
Cool.
Very, very well made. Episodes 4 and 5. Now, my favorite episode is episode 5. But I don't like all the stuff outside, to be honest, as much. It's not as interesting, so I think it loses points for that.
That was just 4 and 5. Anything outside was exposition to tell us what's going on in the real world.
And it was blatant, lazy exposition for the most part. Yeah. And so episodes 4 and 5 get more of a 7 out of 10. 6 and 7, however,
to me, are the 2 best. Because it's Vision really figuring out what's going on.
All the stuff with Vision in the Halloween episode's pretty cool. All of the finding out about the problems that Wanda's having is pretty interesting. Trying to figure out what's going on with fake Pietro, because I didn't realize or think he was fake until Agatha reveals it. I thought there was some crazy weird multiverse stuff going on. And so 6 and 7 go back up to about a 9 out of 10. Episode 8 is good. It's probably the least rewatchable of the bunch.
The best thing about episode 8 is it gives us a lot of backstory of Wanda Maximoff, which we've never got before, and I liked it.
But now that I have that knowledge, I don't feel I need to really watch that again. So again, we're back down to a 7 out of 10 in that. But episode 9, solid 7.5 out of 10, I think. Good resolution to all the story plot threads.
A good way to end it as well, because it took us full circle of Wanda having to actually deal with her grief, as opposed to what had happened during the series, where she wasn't really dealing with it. She was blanking over it with happy memories and sitcom and not living in the real world. That's what it says to me, is the show ended afterwards saying, "Listen, Wanda, in the real world, you have to deal with your grief."
15, 24, 31, 39. 39 divided by...
Call it 40.
So 40 divided by 5. 8.
Yeah.
So it's just shy of an 8 out of 10 for me. It's about 7.9, 7.85 out of 10.
Mine's 8.5 to 9. I thought it was because I thought every bit of the production, the way the stories were put together were very intriguing.
But this is why I feel you have to be very precise though with your ratings if you want to be a film and TV.
Then I'm going to say an 8.5.
So yeah, okay, good. I was going to have to clarify because I'm like, is this better than Mandalorian 2?
It's better than Mandalorian Season 1.
I think it's better than both. 'Cause it's much better storytelling. The storytelling of this show is where... That's why I say its rewatchability is a lot higher than I expected. Because I didn't think the story was going to be this good watching the first 3 episodes. I didn't.
Let's put it this way. It's a very good, long Marvel movie about Wanda Maximoff. It's a Scarlet Witch movie that's very good.
So 7.9, 7.85 out of 10... That's a good rating.
Yeah. 8.5.
That means this is, but 8.5 is like exceptional television. Then
yeah, it's by far the best series I've seen in a long time.
You gave The Mandalorian 9 out of 10.
Mandalorian Season 2, yes.
Yeah,
and I think Mandalorian Season 2 is really good.
The story's nowhere near as good as this. There's very little story. That's the thing about The Mandalorian. It's not about story so much as it is about characters. This show just blows my mind because it did such a good job of both.
As I said, this feels like a movie that was split up into 5 episodes.
But that don't mean anything. I'm talking about critique of like what it is that makes Mandalorian, for instance, exceptional television, and this just
probably because
really
I'm
good
a massive
television.
Star Wars fan.
So there is a little bit of bias.
Yeah,
okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Because again, I'm one of the ones that liked Luke Skywalker showing up at the end.
Well, and it works both. It works for everyone because I think Star Trek Discovery Season 3 was a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
and a lot of people are gonna puke face at me for saying that.
Season 3 of Discovery was a 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. Speaking of that, this week's podcast is a casting call episode for something that any video gamers out there are going to absolutely love. So you're going to want
Star Wars fans.
Yes. Double nice. You're going to have to basically come back and watch that again. On what day do we release that?
So Sunday will be casting call.
For next week's episode, however, this is why I said, speaking of Star Trek, we're going to be doing an episode of 10 Forward. And who knows what we're going to be discussing, but it's obviously inspired through Star Trek, and we always end up talking about Star Trek. But that will be released next Sunday, and so...
When are you going to be releasing your top 10 list as well? We got that coming on down.
I got a top 10 list that's probably going to be out tomorrow, but I wanted to release it today, but I ended up having to go make some changes and some adjustments. And you'll like it more as a result.
So we got a top 10 list. We got our casting call on Sunday. We got next week's 10 Forward.
Yeah, we already said all that.
So we've got plenty coming down the pipeline. In 2 weeks' time, we will be doing our live shows on Friday now. Are we going to do them that, or are we going to go back to Wednesdays?
Well, the only reason we did this one was because it was the finale. I think for the sake of helping boost our channel and help
Wednesdays,
we're going to do our reviews after we've had a little time to think about what we're watching.
Let it stew.
And even though you said Superman and Lois, I don't think that's what we're doing.
No, we're going
to probably take a little hiatus from the lives and come back at you with some Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Why not?
Yeah, so...
That seems to be the popular topic these days.
That is. You never know. It might be Falcon and the Winter Soldier versus Mephisto.
Yeah.
And Reed Richards is going to help them out.
No, I'm going to have to do some research. I'm going to try to find some Captain America, obscure Captain America villain or something.
Well, we know the main bad's Zemo, but
but I mean, like, to joke about with Mephisto, like already, how long is it going to take until the Red Skull
comes back?
Yeah, until all the theories about
maybe he came back after the Soul Stone was put back there.
That's what I'm saying. All the theories about the Red Skull are going to start popping up at some point. But there's again, I don't read the comics, so I don't know about Winter Soldier, Falcon. Maybe there's some super obscure villain out there who everybody's going to all assume, because in the first episode, Falcon's like eating an ice cream, and he'll be like, "This guy was like he's made of ice cream, so he's going to show up."
No, what's going to happen is they're going to realize that they're both shit, and they got to give Steve some more serum and get him young again.
Yeah.
But if you liked what you were seeing, don't forget to like and share.
It's not Ermin.
Sorry. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment. We'd love to know what your thoughts are. And anything else, Michael?
No, so I would just say, without further ado, until next time. Bye-bye.
Yep. See you later.